Good evening. I'm Angus Mustang, and this is Event Horizon. Today we got Co-Host Lord Raul, and from Knights of the Storm in the Foxhole, Mr. Jason Barker. How you gentlemen doing tonight?
Doing good.
Doing great. Had a great interview today with you co-hosting on Knights of the Storm. That was amazing.
Yeah, I was so hungry for a steak. I can't wait till this is over so I can go cook it. So we actually have Little John. We lost him. Apparently he's in the bushes and he's not coming back. So guess we'll have to wait till next time to see him again. So we guys want to talk about time travel tonight? A little bit of the CERN collider, maybe?
Sure.
Okay. We talked about that tomorrow, and we also talked about it yesterday. I can't remember. We've been time traveling.
Well, see, because we're actually in your future. We're an hour ahead of you.
Yeah, crazy. And Harps is from
Harps
Australia. He's always out there ahead of us, man.
He's almost a day ahead of us.
Yep.
He won't share the damn lotto numbers though.
Right. What's up with that?
I told him I split it with him. But yeah. So I got a bunch of clips here. If I can do this correctly today, and so what I'll do is I'll show them, and we'll discuss if we believe them or not. How does that sound?
Awesome.
Glad I paid you guys for that. All righty. I'm going to share a little screen here. Thank God there's editing. This first one's pretty neat. Is this lady talking on a cell phone? Did you see that?
Yes, I've seen some of these. Like the 10 pictures of stuff that shouldn't exist in that time kind of thing.
You know, you would think, okay, maybe she's just holding something, up to her head or something. People say maybe it's a listening device, but she's talking it's just weird. Is it just because we're used to seeing people like that? That's the part I don't.
Well, I've heard someone explain it as she was carrying a transistor radio.
Not back in those days.
That's what they were explaining it away as.
So let's see if the mouth moves.
Yeah,
you can see her.
Oh, wow.
It's very strange. It's like, huh. Yeah, they show it from a bunch of different angles and, well, not angles, but, close up, far away.
I'd like to know which wicked witch the house fell on to get those shoes.
She's a working woman, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it's very.
So as you can see, the guy walks on past, and the lady follows him. Big butch lady, and if you look carefully, she's talking on a thin black device that is held to her ear. If you notice also that the knuckles are bent in the flat shape. I'll get my phone. In the flat shape of a phone. The phone is to her ear. It is not an ear trumpet. It is not an AM/FM radio, because obviously it's 1928. I mean, technically, there is nothing I can explain that could be what is in her hand. If you look carefully, when I slow it down, and zoom it up here, there's just nothing. I mean, it's clear that she's talking. She's on her own. She's talking into a device. And even when she stops and she turns around, she kind of looks at the camera. And that's the weirdest part for me. I think, okay, it's weird enough that she's talking on a device. There's no wires. There's no long antenna coming out. It's pretty much an old lady with the device to her ear, talking into it. And when she still is looking at the camera, she's still talking. She's mouthing away, but more in shock. And even when that crossfade comes in, you can see in the crossfade that she's quite happily kind of like yabbering away, blah, 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 blah. It's just unexplainable. I just can't say anything.
The weird part is who sits around and watches something like that close. I mean, there must have been, well, of course, when that movie probably came out, there was no cell phone, so nobody even paid attention to it. But to go back and watch an old Charlie Chaplin movie and pick that out, I'd be highly impressed by that.
Oh, that's actually in a movie?
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, it's in
No.
a Charlie. I'm sorry, it was in a Charlie Chaplin movie. I don't. Yeah.
Huh. So I picked out two things from that. One thing I noticed was we talk on our cell phones. You know, some people do this with the speakerphone. Everyone else kind of does this loosey goosey. This, if you're trying to let's say you're hiding in a closet because you have a murderer in your house, you're kind of hiding your phone, you know. So if I was to advocate for, yeah, this is somebody from the future with a cell phone, it looked like they were trying to hide the fact that they were on something that belonged, out of place. But then to play the other side of it, to say it's not time travel, I would say, who's to say we didn't already have that technology, but only a handful of people knew about it, because it was very hidden technology. I mean, God knows what the military has right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's possible, and that would explain the concern when somebody realized there was a camera. When she realized, oh shit, the camera's pointing right at me, I got caught. I don't know,
Yeah,
just
that's
my
kind of the way I.
observations.
That's kind of the way I took it when she turned too. Was that, oh crap, I'm busted. Nobody was supposed to see this.
Yeah,
But
yeah, and that would be consistent with like, oh, I'm just looking like maybe I'm scratching my head right now, but I'm actually talking to somebody. I don't know. Interesting.
so time travel is commonly defined with David Lewis's definition: an object time travels if and only if the difference between its departure and arrival times as measured in the surrounding world does not equal the duration of the journey. So, that's like missing time. When people report that they were picked up by aliens and stuff, they have that missing time thing. So they were gone for
2 hours, 3
Yeah.
hours.
But it seemed like they were gone when they talk about their experience, like it was a whole day affair or something. But
So
not to get on the alien thing, but that's something I've always said. People say, well, Roswell happened 80 years ago, whatever it is. And so wouldn't they have come looking? Well, maybe on their planet, 80 years is only like 5 hours. This plane, that ship's only been missing 5 hours. We don't have to worry about them yet.
that's interesting, and there's a lot of science behind it. And I'll just be flat out up front. I don't think we can personally travel through time in this physical body. That's my personal belief, and I have reasons for that. But understanding and it being biblical as well, having heaven and hell and earth as we live in it, I believe there's different dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we can maybe talk about that later. But I do know that when they have sent people into space and they've done these experiments where they have a pocket watch or even a digital watch, I believe they've done it with all types of timekeeping devices, and they'll orbit the Earth for, I don't know, 3 or 4, 5, 6, whatever times, and they come back down, and they had one synchronized before they left, and the time is different. Now, that to me is the one thing that, they talk about laws of physics and, theory of relativity and all this other stuff, and saying time travel is possible because of this. I always say, no, it's not. But that's the one thing I can't explain is the time loss or gain, however you want to look at it. Did one person lose time or one watch lose time? Or did the other one gain time? I guess that's kind of relative to where you're at, right?
Yeah. I mean, I get a headache from watching like the Terminator movies, the first one, because you get involved in that time thing, and you just try to sort it out in your head, and is it possible? I'm not saying the movie is true, but what people say, oh, if I had to do things different, all right. So if you went back in time and you didn't do a certain thing, and all it would take, maybe I spent too long tying my shoes, I never met my wife. You know what I mean? Because we bumped into each other at the grocery store or something. So now you go back in time, but you don't have your family that you have now. So you don't have your kids that you love, and they would never have been born, but you never would have known that.
Right. And so that's called the grandfather paradox, where if you go back in time and kill your grandfather,
And you're not born,
and then you wouldn't go back in time to kill your grandfather. So it's a paradox. I would say that if you went back in time and you killed your grandfather, time wouldn't have changed. You just find out that you were an illegitimate child, you know, like somebody else was your grandfather.
milkman.
But then,
Yeah, the milkman.
but then depending on who you listen to, in different paradoxes, it won't allow you to go back and do that. So you'll go back to try to stop it, and there's always something that prevents you from doing it to reset the timeline.
Now, I subscribe to that. If there is possible time travel, I believe that that's exactly what would happen if there is time travel, that it already happened, so it can't be undone.
Right.
Whether we try to or not, you just didn't know the circumstances in which it failed. I absolutely agree with that.
The only way they said it's possible, or they were talking about it, is if you can change different timelines. So there's multiple timelines.
Yeah.
So if you go back on timeline A and then return on timeline B and then go back on timeline C, then you can get this stuff done. But it's like, how do you know which timeline you're running back and forth on?
Well, that's the basis for the Back to the Future trilogy. You know, you've got to go back to the future. I mean, like you can't fix this. You have to go back to where it branched off to fix that problem. So absolutely, 100%. That's a great trilogy, by the way. I got to watch that again.
But then they still talk about, in order to do it, you've got to go faster than the speed of light, and they've got so much math in it, or wormholes, and they're saying now that going in and out of the wormholes is like a 20G experience to go in and out. And it's like,
So what does that mean by 20G experience? I mean, is it the same as, like, the same reference as 5G? That it's a frequency, or
no, as in
G's like
pulling
Earth.
20 G's in a jet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a G is a gravity. One G is one times Earth gravity. So 20 would be like you would become 20 times heavier and just squish. You would squish like like a jellyfish that washed up on the shore. And that is a way to get past the G's, by the way. If you were immersed in a liquid, because that entire body moves, but relative to that body of liquid around you, you haven't moved. That is actually a way to possibly get past G's.
So what bothers me about this time travel thing is I happen to find an article what Einstein and Bill Gates teach us about time travel. That bothers me. Einstein, I'm fine with. Now we got Bill Gates involved in this. Oh my God! But to be honest, I
want people to realize Gates.
I read the story.
Gates dropped out of college twice. I think the only doctorate or any kind of degree he has like an honorary one because he paid for it. I want people to know that he's considered the world's doctor, but he's never taken a medical class in his life.
The most powerful doctor in the world.
Yeah, he's a YouTube warrior, right? He knows everything from YouTube. I'll put that out there.
I don't want to say what I want to say.
Hey, I'm a YouTube scholar as well, so.
Well, that's fine. As far as Bill Gates goes, he's douchebag, and that's being nice. I'm trying to be nice. But
someone should have got him a girlfriend in college.
They did, but he buried her. That's his little legend. Hey, he got some on Epstein's Island, right? He was another one of those guys.
Do you count toddlers?
Oh, I don't even want to think about that. If you see me swat, for some reason, I got a couple little gnats flying in here that I can't get rid of.
Get out your gnat gun.
Yeah.
All right, I have some more videos here. I'm just trying to find it. Kind of got off track here. I don't know how this is going to look full screen, but What did I do? Hold on 1 second. Thought I opened that up. All right, we'll go with this one. Yeah, and the funny thing is, when I was searching this stuff, there was a lot of them that came up with cell phones. You got another one here, a picture of a woman with a cell phone from like the 50s, and very strange how that goes. But,
well, I've seen the pictures, especially there's one famous one of a guy, back when people used to dress right, even when it was 100 degrees outside. Yes, this is not the first time in the world we've had 110-degree weather. Okay, it's not extreme. It's not global warming. It's not. But people just dressed in suits and ties and coats and things like that back in the day.
Go to the beach.
Yeah, and there was one famous picture. You'll see it a lot online. The 10 craziest things from history that shouldn't be, or whatever. And there's a guy in what appears to be a hoodie with modern sunglasses. I got a pair here. Something like this.
Yep.
And then also I think in that one he appears to be on a cell phone or something. And that's completely out of place. And I don't know.
Really?
It's compelling. Yeah.
The only thing that scares me with those is, photoshopping and creating crap has gotten so crazy.
Yes.
It is hard to tell what's real and what's not. And I just got a picture of that to where a buddy of mine took one of my pictures and changed the background and changed my outfit. And so I looked like a commander on a spaceship. And it's like,
this guy has a lot of time on his hands.
Yeah, it took him a long time to do it. But you can't tell. I said, the only reason I know it's not real is because if I were in space, I'd be sick as a dog. But it took him, he said it took like 5 or 6 hours to get it all done.
Yeah.
Changing everything over.
That was one of my projects I worked on. And I won't go into it, but I got a really funny story about a fake picture of me shaking George Bush's hand outside of Air Force One that got us a brand new remote control in a hotel room that me and my battle buddy in the Army was staying in, that the TV wouldn't turn on. And the guy didn't give us any static about it because he's seen that on my laptop screen, thought it was legit. But anyway, I had this kind of goal to Photoshop myself in these extremely amazing situations, like summoning Pikes Peak, Mount Everest, and hang gliding and parachuting. And it wasn't that difficult. With very minimal Photoshop skills, I was able to Photoshop myself into multiple, like, unbelievable. And I got the idea from watching Meet the Parents. Is it Meet the Parents? Where the guy was the CIA guy or whatever, retired.
Meet the Fockers, or
the Meet the Fockers was a follow-up. Yeah. So, when he found his way into the thing and he was kind of looking around at the pictures on the wall, you could just see this guy's phenomenal history. And I thought I would do something that was kind of bogus like that and throw around my man cave just to kind of freak people out when they came in, and so I did a bunch of Photoshop stuff of, crazy stuff, me jumping out of airplanes, which I've never done. I actually wanted to do that. Summiting Mount Everest, all kinds of stuff.
You should get a picture like you shaking hands with Saddam Hussein and Muammar Gaddafi.
Yeah. I was doing stuff like that.
Rumsfeld has those.
Yeah, I was doing stuff like that, and I was just going to put it up all nonchalant, whatever. Be talking to somebody. Yeah, so here's this thing, and they look up and they just don't want to say anything. Like, wow, what's going on here?
All right, you ready to have your mind blown now?
Let's do it.
This is one of many. Tonight is movie night.
As long as there's no math.
Not yet.
Year-old cell phone. In 2016, a group of researchers unearthed an ancient-looking cell phone in Austria. The phone is covered in cuneiform writing, which dates back to thousands of years ago, making this object thousands of years old. But obviously, we didn't have phones back then, when this clearly looks like it was modeled after a Nokia phone. Alien hunters believe that it comes from an advanced civilization that has come to Earth. Others believe that this object is proof of time travel. What's even more weird is that I can't seem to find much about this phone online, so it looks like no one has debunked it yet. Maybe it's real then, who knows? In our sixth spot we have the man named Noah.
But that thing looked like the other cell phone. That was the when I first saw that, I was kind of like, I thought somebody was making a joke, you know. But then it's like, damn, that thing looks like. They had another one with an Xbox controller, and it was like very freaking weird. It's like, what the hell was that for? I don't know. I can't remember. Yeah, it was the same clip. She goes through like 10 different things, but there were some of them that were just stupid. Didn't even want to hear about it. But I mean, look at that.
I think that looks too much like what we have today.
That it almost looks so fake.
I do have an explanation though that would be maybe biblical based. I don't know, no scripture on it, but kind of the philosophy. So if you believe in the Bible and everything, God wiped out the earth with Noah's flood because the world had become corrupt, right? I personally believe that the people were corrupted by demonic spirits, and there was a level of technology that we lost at that point.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at, and I hate to get really scriptural on you, but if you look at gopher wood, right? So people don't know what gopher wood is. Okay, there is no gopher wood tree. Well, if you look into what gopher wood is, it has several meanings. And one of the meanings is like a tarred wood or a watertight wood that you would use to make an old school boat, where they would tar because they didn't have like epoxy resin and fiberglass and all that back then. So they'd have to put something that would keep the water out. So gopher wood could very well mean this like a lapped wood with some tar. And that doesn't make sense that they would even have a word for that, because before the flood, there was no rains. There was no, I mean, yeah, maybe they had some fishing stuff. Maybe that's where it comes from. I don't know. But what I think may have happened is, to exclude time travel as the excuse for why we have two cell phones that look alike thousands of years apart. It's possible that we had similar technology that was provided by people outside of our dimension. I would call them demons, maybe. But they provided humans with that technology. God wiped those humans off the face of the earth. A few survived, we thrived, and those same entities are now introducing this same tech back to do that same plan. Does that make sense? So it's going to be similar.
I mean, look at how engrossed people are in their cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
They melt down if they lose it and can't find it.
I'll be honest with you. Where the hell did I go the other day? But I left my cell phone at home. We left for an entire day, and I left my cell phone absolutely at home. Didn't care. And I had times when, and I'm not glued to my thing. I mean, Angus will tell you, he'll text me and I won't get back to him for hours. I'm not really glued to it. But still, there's these moments I've been trained. There's these moments I'm like, oh God, am I missing something? Like it's slowly being trained into even me. And part of that's for the military because I had to be glued to it. I try to divorce myself from it, but still, it's a bad drug. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Like we were saying before, when we were talking before we started recording, a lot of it's just addictive stuff. That's the whole thing. It's
which is funny because people laugh at me because I still use my flip phone. And
you don't have AT&T, do you? Because AT&T won't allow the old devices.
Yeah, and I actually had to upgrade because the previous one was 3G, and they were killing the towers, so I had to go to a 4G with my phone. But people are like, you need to get a smartphone. What for? If you want to talk to me, call me. It works.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You get so used to. I actually have a flip phone too, a newer one, for my personal line. And I was just so tired of having a smartphone and paying for all this stuff, and it's like I can get by with a flip phone, but you know what? I need the freaking smartphone, GPS and all that stuff.
Oh,
It's nice. It's nice to have when.
Well, for your job, it's
Yeah,
one
but
of those.
But even then, it's like I got GPS in the car, and but it's just it's habit forming.
It is. It's a drug. It's habit forming. Yep.
You're sitting in a lobby somewhere waiting for something, and what do? You take out your black mirror and you go through and you're scrolling through. That's how I find all this stuff. I mean, I don't look for stuff.
Well, I want everybody that sees this show to do this. Next time you're in a doctor's office, a dentist office, or somewhere where you have to sit and wait a while, maybe a pharmacy, take a look. Remember back in the day, there used to be magazine racks,
mm-hmm.
and you would talk to the person next to you and be like, "Hey, are you done reading that? Hey, I got this auto mechanics, Popular Mechanics magazine. They got some health journal or whatever. And you're like, hey, let's swap." Now they're sitting in that rack, and if you go look at them, they're like 3 years old.
Yep. Well, my doctor, I noticed my doctor used to have Sports Illustrated, golf, home magazines. He used to have everything. And I just went back with my wife and I went looking, and all there are now are medical journals that are in the office. There's no
pushing pharma, pushing drugs, right?
Actually, no. Actually,
really?
He's got his own website where he's dispelling the jab and COVID and he's
holy crap, Raul, can you get him to come do a show with us? I know this is off your topic for your show, but I would love to interview this guy.
I could ask him if he'd go on your show.
Yeah,
maybe we should interview my dentist because he's got Penthouse magazine in his waiting room. And he always says, "You have the whitest teeth I ever came across" when I wake up out of the gas.
Oh, excellent. Oh no, but
all right,
okay, sorry, man. I got us off on a tangent.
No, that's fine. That's what this is all about. No, so set it up.
No, even though when you go to a restaurant now, I've been to restaurants that they don't have a menu. They have a QR code on the table.
Yep. And I always make them get me a menu. I have a QR code reader, but get me a menu, goddamn.
Well, half the time I walk into a restaurant, I'm not expecting to read a book. So I leave my reading glasses, and I have 20/20 vision. It's just up close I don't, because I'm getting old, right? I got to have the readers in. And I'll walk into a restaurant, and it's a pain in the ass for me. I go in there, and then they're like, "Oh, this QR code, the menu's here." They say the menu's here, and they point at the table. I'm like, "What? What? The menu's where?" "Oh, this little thing." And then it's like, I had to download a QR code reader because my phone didn't come with one.
Yep. I'm
like, that is inconvenient. And then it's on this tiny screen. Not that tiny, but my eyes aren't that great up close. And it's I have to go back out to the truck now to get my glasses. And I'm almost like, "Hun, let's just go. Let's just leave this place."
That's why when they have a drive-through, that's a good restaurant.
Yeah. So the technocrat society is like the new hippie, right? They're spreading like a fungus. Fungus.
Exactly. Oh, wrong one. Sorry, guys.
And being dumbed down at the same time.
Right. Yeah. To be your smartphone dumbs you down. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, it sure does.
And it kills conversation because everybody's just texting and emojiing. Nobody's actually making a phone call to ask how you're doing.
Well, that's what Texas Slim talked about today. And he worked in the Intel and the analyst side of the world for quite a while. And he said that was an intentional thing, was to put a device in everybody's hand to widen the broadband to make sure they had enough that they could put Johnny and Susie and mom and dad in their own separate rooms to break up that family conversation. And that goes back, like he said, to the 70s, when they broke up the nuclear family by making families have to have 2 jobs. There was no stay-at-home mom, or even if you had an ERA mom that had a really great job and the man stayed home and raised the kids. No, that went away and that comes down to finances too. They make it impossible to live without 2 working parents. And you know what? Why don't you just get rid of one of those parents, and then we'll incentivize you by putting you on these programs. You don't need the father. You don't need the mother. You could be a single parent. They do not want us communicating. Like you said, Raul, they don't want us communicating. And then now it's gone from the family to just everyday interaction because of this Black Mirror, as Angus would call it, the Black Mirror. So that's a good observation, man. Sorry, Angus.
No, absolutely.
But
that's what I want to do here is talk about everything. So we don't.
It's sad to see it take place.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I agree. It's me and my family are pretty good about that when we go out. I'm the first culprit because we'll sit there and we'll talk about something and somebody go, well, that's not right. So and so is dead. Some famous person's dead. No, they're not. Well, I grab my phone and we'll Google it. And then it's solved for the rest of the night. But then
that's dangerous because when AI becomes the authority of what's true and not true, that's dangerous. When you start relying on this to determine truth, how far until AI is controlling this? And that's a very, very dangerous.
Well, it already does. It already controls it. I mean, that's it. To get a little bit further off topic. So I can't remember what I was going to say. I burped and I lost it. But no. So I was looking for something on my phone this morning and can't remember what it was. Oh, there was a sponsored ad that came up on Google, and it was just something I was interested in. I looked at it. I scanned through because they had a sale going on. I went through all these pages, and then I closed it out. And I swear to God, this honest to God truth, I didn't fill out any forms or anything. I didn't buy anything from them. 5 minutes later, I got an email. Hey, what's going on? This is on sale now. So somehow this freaking thing got my email by me just clicking on their ad on my phone and scanning through.
Oh, Debbie did that. My wife did that same thing, didn't fill anything out, just clicked on the ad, got out of it, went to something else, and within an hour, the phone started ringing. Everybody trying to sell her whatever she was looking at, different companies calling her, and she finally had to shut down the phone and unplug it because they just kept calling.
So here's one similar. We had a friend in Georgia when I was still stationed out there, active duty military. A friend of ours had, I think it was her sister or something like that. Sister-in-law, something was getting married. So our friend was looking at wedding dresses and bridesmaids dresses and things like that, kind of helping her plan the wedding. Just looking at them, my wife and I had not done anything like that whatsoever. Cause I know they base ads and stuff off of your Google search, which ironically, Google just sent me a freaking email saying that they updated their terms of service because they really care about our privacy and they don't sell our data. Yet everything I get on Facebook is from my Google search history. They have an algorithm that looks at what I look at, and then they try to advertise and sell me things they think I want. Anyway, point being, so this chick just starts looking this stuff up literally that day on the way to our house. She's on her way to our house. She's looking up some stuff. And then she gets to her house. She turns it off, whatever. And then I go on my Facebook, which I hardly ever do. And the ads were for wedding dresses. I'm like, I asked my wife, I was like, why am I getting ads for wedding dresses? This is kind of odd. And my wife says, I'm getting them too. And I was like, whoa. And turns out then the friend said, oh yeah, I was looking those up on the way here. So they geotagged her location when she got to my house, she knew our Wi-Fi, so she latched onto my Wi-Fi, and apparently the AI thought that maybe I was planning a wedding, so then they pushed that to my Facebook, for ads. So yeah, they're definitely doing that, 100%.
I have found out something they won't do, because I'll look up Bible references, anything religious related. They will not send you back anything for it. At least it doesn't come back to me. They don't send you back Bible references. They don't send you back ads for anything religion. It's just once you put it out there, it's done.
And that's true, Raul. That is true. I do. And actually, Angus, we forgot to do the verse of the week.
I was thinking of that as I was driving to go get my steaks today.
Oh, crap. I didn't do the verse of the week this
I was
week.
like, I don't know if you had that planned or.
No. It's just we had the time zone mess up with our interview 2 weeks in a row, so I was kind of worried about that. I forgot, but no, you're right, Raul. Because I'll do a search. I'll be like, hey, give me a Bible verse on something that has to do with this, and it gives me a laundry list. But I've never gotten an ad saying buy this Bible or go to this church. I don't get any of that, even though that is quite a bit of my Google searches.
Or here's a great place to buy religious T-shirts or whatever it is.
You won't get that. No, that's a very good observation, man. Very good. Wow.
All right, we ready for some time travel again?
Yes.
Let's do it. I'm sorry, we got way off track, but that's good. That's good show, bro.
Fine. Do not apologize. It's all good conversation. All right. Ding, ding, ding. Did you see that?
Whoa.
Was that freaking weird?
Well, why didn't he come out naked like Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Wasn't that a woman?
I don't know.
That's what I thought.
Don't judge.
Let's see. Back it up one more time. Here we go.
I thought he was wearing a trench coat.
Women wear trench coats. Yeah, I don't want to see you naked. I'm sorry. That's just weird. It almost looked like a doctor, like a lab coat he was wearing or something. Okay, so you think that was real, or like, some of these I see and I go, because you'll see a lot of them that we're going to go through are from like CCTV cameras at intersections and stuff. It's like, well, maybe it's a
glitch.
A glitch. It got, it's getting feed from more than one camera, and it just happened to work out this way. But that was from somebody's dashboard camera. I mean, that was the weird thing about it. It wasn't like a commercial camera.
The only thing that gets me suspicious is there was no movement from the wind of the truck.
But yeah, if you're coming from another dimension,
right? But once he got towards the back of the truck, you should have seen something ruffle as the wind went by him.
Well, I have, after watching all these the past day, like I said, I really enjoyed doing this one because I had time to spend this week and go through a lot of different stuff and sort through stuff that I just thought was like, that's kind of crappy, but at the end, I'm going to give my opinion on what I think some of these things are. And then
I'm going to change my initial opinion. My initial opinion before Lord Raul spoke, because that's a very valid point. You would think that little lab coat or whatever the hell that person was wearing should fly up. I mean, I ride a motorcycle. I know what it's like to ride behind an 18-wheeler. It's hell on two wheels, right? I initially was going to say that it's quite possible it was a mental patient that escaped from a mental facility. Kind of wondering why the other cars weren't like braking and slowing down, saying, hey, there's some guy in the street. What's going on here? But it looked like it could have been, if you replay it, you'll see it looked like the person could have actually been there, and maybe the truck driver wasn't paying attention and then swooped around them just enough. But then when you mentioned that the coat didn't blow up, blow or ruffle or whatever, that's kind of like, it could be completely fake. I don't know. Go back to that. Yeah, watch that. So look.
I wasn't until Raul showed up.
Oh wow. TMI, brother. TMI.
Well, no, I'm wearing pants though. Because I didn't want him to get too excited. So, while my computer's rebooting, hi everybody. So, he got me in trouble Labor Day weekend.
I did.
Yes. So
You gotta scooch over. We can't see you on camera.
well, you don't have to
It's
see
just
me.
share.
Everybody knows my face made for radio. So he calls me up, and I was coming home from work, and he goes, "Hey, you want to get together for a drink?" I'm like, I said I can, but the wife gets mad at me when I do that. And he goes, "No, it'll be fine. Just a couple drinks." So we met down at this bar in the center of town, and I still had my dress shirt on and everything from work. And I think I had a little bit too much to drink, and I tell him, I said, "Man, my wife hates it when I get sloppy drunk." He said, Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Have another one. Had another one, ended up puking all over myself, right down my shirt. I'm like, "Oh, son of a bitch, I'm going to be in big trouble." So Smarty over here goes, "I got it covered." Takes the 20, sticks it in my shirt pocket. He goes, "When you get home, tell her I threw up on you. I gave you the money to get it dry cleaned." That's all right.
Genius.
So I took an
Genius.
I took an Uber home. I walk in the door. My wife looks at me. She goes, "What the hell did you do now?"
And that's cheaper than a new shirt.
Yeah. I said, "No, it was Raul. Raul threw up all over me." She goes, "I don't believe you." I said, "He put $20 in my pocket so I could get it cleaned." So she reaches in the pocket. She opens up. She says, "There's $40 here." I said, "Yeah, you also crapped in my pants."
He got me, man. He got me. Oh, that was a good one. Oh, so hey, what I was talking about, I know you guys couldn't hear me, and I'm sure that maybe this will be edited out for the part that they couldn't hear y'all or whatever.
See what I can salvage.
What I was talking about was what I took from the video after what Lord Raul shared with the observation that the coat didn't blow up, which was amazing. Initially, my observation was, the way that it looks like there could have been some mental patient just wandering into a highway and you couldn't see him because the dash cam on the chase car couldn't see it because of trucks. And the truck, it almost looks like the truck could have done a evasive maneuver, right?
Yeah.
And just barely missed that person. But my real question was this. If there was a person wandering around like a madman in the street, what about the oncoming cars? Would they have not stopped and slowed down and pulled off the road? So I tend to believe that that's kind of a BS story. Unless, of course, they just appeared out of nowhere. But then why would the truck swerve?
Right.
Yeah. And then what happened after that? What did the chase car run that guy over? Does the video go on to show the rest of that? Angus is back on his computer, but you're muted. You're both muted.
Give me 5 minutes. You keep talking.
Okay. So what's your takeaway from that, Lord Raul, from what I just said? Let's pick it apart.
Yeah, the only thing that would make sense is if you caught that in an interdimensional move. So it was half in, half out, and then it wouldn't affect it. But
that happened before.
But you got to look at all of it and take it in. It looks amazing because the trailer is going around something. But like I said, you don't see any movement on the garments the guy's wearing being that close to a tractor trailer.
And that was an amazing observation that I missed. I have seen that clip before. I've seen it before. And my wife and I, believe it or not, we live no less than 2 miles from the bar, the biker bar we met at on bike night. And when we met there, and then we lived actually about 20 minutes down the road, we were actually coming home from that bar, shortly after we met on the back, and she was on the back of my bike. And we literally were about 6 feet from a tractor trailer that passed us. And it sucked us in. There was one behind us, one in front of us, and one passing us. And that turbulence was so bad, we almost freaking died.
Oh, yeah.
It sucked us in. I could have literally done this right here and touched the 18-wheeler. And my wife to this day has not ridden with me because of that. And it wasn't my fault. It was, I have a light bike. I don't have a bagger. I have a very light bike. I have it stripped down. It used to be a 2-seater. Now, because my wife won't ride with me, it's a solo. But there's no windshield, no fairing, no nothing. I just like them slim and minimal. I like the bobber style. And that's really rough on the highway, man.
Really rough. I had that experience years ago with my brother's car. I went to go get on the highway, and my brother's car was notorious for stalling out if you hit the gas wrong. And I jumped out in front of a ton of traffic, and the car stalled on the highway, and all I saw were 4 or 5 tractor trailers behind me. And I just put my head down and went, yep, this is it. I'm all done. And you heard the horns going off and the trailers go by me. And they literally pulled me half a mile down the road when I finally had the nerve to look up and go, okay, I'm not dead. So, I mean, I know let's say I'm not proud of this moment, but I used to race into work with a buddy, and we ran stop signs. And one day we actually caught a homeless guy in the middle of the road. And my buddy went by him first, spun him one way. I went by the other way and spun him back the other way. And this was just maybe 30, 40 miles an hour. So being on the highway at 60, you'd have to see something.
That's a good observation. And I want to point out that you caught that. I actually missed that. And I ride motorcycles on the highway. I know, how that turbulence does, but you caught that because you live real life. How much more if this is a BS story, a BS thing to get people to believe whatever, whether it's for entertainment or whatever the purpose is. It looks pretty convincing, right? Just like the news does, just like the war in Ukraine does, just like everything does. Just like people dying and falling in the streets from COVID in China looks convincing, right? If you don't live real life, you can't tell what real life is. You can't discern that small thing. And you just caught something that I didn't catch because you've lived it.
Yeah. But like you said, all these people sitting at home just take it for face value because they're sitting in their house safe and sound and not doing anything.
Yeah. And I've seen this, actually with my kids. They got on, maybe 5-6 years ago when Facebook was kind of taking off like real big. Well, maybe they had been out already, but the kids were getting their devices. Can you believe this? And they would show me, I'm like, that's so fake. Like, but look, it's on the internet. I'm like, and I would have to, like you said, break apart this didn't happen. That didn't happen. It's obviously, CGI. It's obviously fake. There's so much fake stuff out there now, but people haven't lived real life to see that. And the more they push us into that little black mirror.
Oh yeah.
I need a jitterbug, bro. I need a jitterbug. One of those flip out phones. People know what I'm talking about. Hopefully, when I say jitterbug, it's like the basic of basic phones.
Oh yeah, we tried to get my adopted mom to use one.
They have big buttons. I don't need my glasses to dial.
No, her thing was don't need it, don't want it. If they want me, they can call me on my house phone.
Yeah, and you know what? That's another thing too. I was going to talk about earlier. Have you noticed that it's hard to get a landline now? You have to bundle it.
Oh yeah.
You have to bundle it with like a cable and internet and phone line. I mean, I don't know if I can actually call. Can I call AT&T or Bell or whatever the heck it is anymore and say, I just want a copper line run out to my house with this old school phone? Or does it have to be digital? I'm pretty sure everything's digital now. So you've got to get like some kind of an internet service to be able to have a landline. And that's kind of scary. Same thing here. When my wife came here, she wanted to get, we just wanted the internet. We've been off of cable for years. But when she got here, she said, hey, you know, can I just have some background noise for some TV? And since we're in the middle of Missouri, we can't use the now digital. You used to be able to use the bunny ears. Now you got the digital antenna, right? That doesn't work out here. There's nothing within a couple 100 miles that broadcasts. So we have to have some kind of a freaking cable if we want to have something other than streaming. And so anyway, she gets it, and it's a bundle. It's the internet and this cable, Direct TV. Then I find out that Direct TV is coming over my internet. So I'm like, what? I'm paying for the internet, and then I'm paying for a TV service that's using my internet, but they don't give, they don't pay me for using my internet, right? What's up with that, yo? And then if my wife watches TV, then my internet speed goes down. So why am I double paying?
Yeah. Oh. That's even better when one goes down while she's watching the other.
Yeah. You know what? For all I care, it can all go down. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Mute yours.
Mute. All right. Mute.
The only reason I even have internet anymore is to do the podcast because people need to wake the hell up. That's it. And like Texas Slim was saying, Texas Slim said he was done with technology and he was in the tech world and he was done with it, but he has a mission. He wants to get people woke up. So we have to, unfortunately, play in this dirty pond to pull the dirty fish out and get them into some clean water, get them out of what was it? Texas Slim said the pig shit water that they take the Texas catfish. That was a great story a great education. Texas catfish, born in Texas. Go ahead. Talk about it.
You don't know what they're doing with the food.
No. Well, and Harps, one thing I wanted to get into the thing on that interview. If you haven't seen it, go to Knights of the Storm and watch that. It was a great interview. But Harps
I watched it.
Well, Harps in the chat. What I didn't get to share because Texas Slim was putting out so much good information that I didn't want to interrupt him. But Harps from Australia, when he was talking about the Australia stuff and and things, Harps mentioned in chat that everything in Australia has to be labeled where it comes from. And I didn't get to address that, but Texas Slim kind of did. And I wanted to correlate that to what we have with like cars and things like that. So they can say it's assembled in America. Right. It doesn't mean it's made in America. So for our friend Harps out there, just because it says that it was, a product of Australia doesn't mean that it's from Australia necessarily. That's just where it was finalized. And that's what they're doing here in the US. And as Texas Slim said, they do this stuff first in Australia. They move it to the different UN countries around the European area, and then they move it to the US. So anyway, I'm sorry, side topic.
I got lucky today when the Knights of the Storm came on. I just started lunch, so I was able to catch the whole program.
And you didn't throw it up, right? That's good. That's always a good thing.
And we're back.
All right. I hope I kept it going, Angus.
Yeah, I appreciate that. All right, so here's another little time traveler clip. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is the wrong one. I did not want to see this.
That was still pretty crazy. Like what?
This guy is No, this
Let me
guy's just.
first start out by saying that most of you are not going to believe what I'm about to
He
say.
went back in time to get the donuts.
That's
Some
fine.
nerdy
I'm not
virgin
trying
in
to
his
convince
garage.
everyone that what I'm saying is true. I'm
Hey, I'm in a
simply trying to
garage. Don't
speak
make
to
me
those of you who will listen.
All right, I'm going
Now, you
ahead.
probably
Here we go. Sorry about that.
What was that? I missed it.
Watch the car on the left. All of a sudden, the car comes from out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Now, I have seen this one on another show, and people said that it was just the timing of the
A
video.
blind spot. The blind
Yeah.
spot. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I watch it. I'm like, nowhere else do I see that car even anywhere near the intersection.
Yeah, because the other
Yeah.
traffic,
Wow. That's crazy.
the other traffic's been stopped.
Well, they couldn't. I mean, they couldn't have been there because every lane, if you go back, every lane was occupied.
Yeah,
And stopped.
They're all
Yeah.
plugged up.
Including
like,
a train? Was that a train?
Yeah. Looks like an electric train.
Yeah, trolley type.
So yeah, you don't. I mean, all of a sudden it's just there.
Yeah, it's
that dude's on the brakes. So that's
Wow.
where. I mean, that one is pretty crazy, I think. But
I got nothing on that one. I can't even pick that one apart, to be honest with you.
like I said, when I first saw that on a show one day, and they said, "Well, it was all in the timing," and I'm looking and going, "No, I don't see that because he was nowhere near that intersection previously."
So I'll provide a little bit of commentary on what I would have thought had you not replayed it a couple times. Actually, quite embarrassing. My last command that I had when I moved into that unit, I was pulling out of the parking lot, and my commander, my battalion commander of all people, was coming down the road, and my wife, I got those what is those things you put on your windows to keep the rain out if you get the windows cracked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got them on there, and it's a GMC Sierra. So if you drive a GMC Sierra, you drive a Yukon, you drive a Escalade, you got the same kind of like that thick ass jam right there on the passenger side, and there's a humongously bad blind spot. And he just happened to be slowing down to turn into our parking lot from the right, and I was pulling out to turn left, and I was slowing down, and he just happened to be just so right that he was in that blind spot for like a good 10 seconds. And I did the stop at the stop sign like I'm supposed to. Thank God I did. And then I went to take off, and then he just appears out of nowhere, just like in the video. But, you know, that was from my perspective. There was, I couldn't see anything that happened before that. Right. So I could kind of play the devil's advocate and say, well, it was perspective. It was the camera angle. But if that car came from that lane of traffic and every lane was full with stopped cars that you could clearly see before that, I don't know, man. That's kind of weird.
I got
this
one.
My commander didn't punish me, by the way, for almost running me over.
I wasn't going to do this one, but you brought it up earlier today. So I said, you know what? I'm going to bring this one up.
Oh, no. I wanted to hear Lord Raul's take on that one, though. The last one.
Oh, I've got nothing, because you're waiting for that car to sneak through, and it's not like, all the cars were pulling up to the light and they all slowed and stopped at the same time, and this one managed to sneak through the red light.
Right.
Everything was dead stopped. They all started to go, and then this thing just appears. So, unless unless there's a massive glitch somewhere, it's hard to figure out where that came from.
Yeah, that was a difficult one to explain, unless it's a CGI or some kind of Photoshop crap or whatever.
Right.
That one's difficult to explain. So,
All right, let's see what
that.
let's see what Haken Nordqvist is up to.
Oh, this is the guy, isn't he?
Yeah,
You found it.
I just happened as I was going to the next clip.
So did you fake a computer crash just to
No,
bring this up?
Oh,
no, because
no.
this is on, I have a whole list of them going here, and
No,
I had skipped this one, but then I said, you know what, I'm going to put this on for Jason.
We were actually waiting for the laptop to burst into flames.
This is probably this is the second most intriguing story I've ever heard. The first being, and I don't even know where to find it, the guy who supposedly went forward in time with an AI run 15-minute city, basically exactly what they're pushing us into. And I heard about this stuff over 10 years ago. And that I don't even know where to find that interview anymore. But to me, I blew it off as like, this guy's a nut. But looking at what they're doing today, it kind of makes me wonder, did he travel in the future? Or at least maybe not physically, but somehow spiritually got shown the future. You know, maybe that's what prophets do. I don't know.
They might, for the next episode, that's actually going to be a topic, is out-of-body experiences.
Nice. Cool.
So here's a Haken Nordqvist.
He has a nice haircut.
I like it.
Still outnumbered.
In the future, he has the same haircut.
Yep, this is the same exact thing. I didn't see this video, but I saw a story on this video that was, yeah.
I mean, my cabinets don't go that damn deep. If I crawled into my cabinets for a long time, I'd end up in the septic tank. So I guess that would be what I was looking at. So this is supposedly a video with him and himself in the future. So they're going to show that again.
That guy looks pretty damn good for supposedly 72 years old.
Yeah.
And once you're done with this, I see what you said now earlier off camera, Angus, about the tattoos.
About the tattoos.
Yeah.
And actually, so they look alike, but they don't look identical. One looks bigger.
Well, one on the left has a darker, wider band.
And also, if that's his tattoo from what is it, 40 years?
Well, yeah. So the guy, okay, 72 years old, right? The guy that supposedly went under his kitchen cabinet. And if you're listening on audio for whatever reason, the story is this guy went under his to fix a leaky sink or whatever, and then just got kind of sucked into a tunnel and then spit out the other end and wound up in the future where we met his future self. And I didn't see this video yet. What you're showing right now is kind of a synopsis. I actually seen a video where, like, an interview of this guy. I don't know if you can find it, but it's really, really hard to find. But he supposedly had pictures, and I didn't know there was video. That's kind of interesting. But yeah, you would think that the guy was maybe 35 years old tops.
So yeah.
Yeah. So I have tattoos, man. I got tattoos, and in 10 years they've faded.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that one looks pretty damn fresh, you ask me.
And I've never seen a 70-year-old redo any tattoos.
No, we're proud of them. We're proud of them, brother.
I mean, I've seen people that, you know, my adopted father has tattoos, but they look like they're 80 years old.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look like he just came out of the parlor.
The only times you get a touch up is for divorce or a bad mistake, like you want to erase it, you know?
Right.
Well, that's the divorce, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Okay, the same thing, right? No, a drunken one night stand name you tattooed on your back or whatever, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, make it say gratitude or something instead of Greta. So,
Oh, you got a thing for Greta, don't you? Yeah.
hey,
You know, she was
that's
actually
not a
in
true
one of
story there. It's not a
She
true
was
story.
in one of these time traveler things that I found. There's a picture of some woman like in the 1800s, early 1900s, that looks exactly like Greta, with the same little pissed off looking face and all that stuff.
How dare you?
Yeah, that's all she had to say was, "How dare you?" But it's like, so what? A lot of people look alike. I just skipped it. It's like I didn't see a reason for that one.
The crazy part is having the wormhole open up underneath your kitchen sink like Narnia.
And I love that Narnia.
I mean,
And then climbing into it.
Yeah,
This looks safe.
yeah, this looks.
You know what? You know what I never seen in that story, even though I've seen videos on it and read about it. It never says where he got spit out. Like,
Right.
did he come out under the sink of like his future home? And and that would be the question: does he still live there? Because that would be proof positive that, well, your future self couldn't be there if you sold this house and now you live somewhere else, because you would have ran into some other guy, you know. That's interesting. Somebody should follow up on that and see where he's at now.
John, if you're not doing anything this week, follow up on this, would you? Thank you. All right, so number 12.
Has John gotten back to you? Is he okay?
Did John ever respond to your text?
Oh no, John has not responded.
John
I texted
has left
him.
the building.
He probably got called in. I bet he got himself his jaws into a good steak, and he's just probably in comatose like heaven right now. Serotonin heaven.
Maybe he's getting lucky.
Lucky man.
These CCTV ones are always kind of, I don't know. So did you see it? It's a very small.
No, I missed it. What happened?
There it is, right there. A little bird.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The funny thing about this, this is in Australia, and your harps always tell you that birds aren't real.
Birds aren't real.
Well, he was there, but then he went down under.
No,
I don't think there's. I think that's just a glitch.
because it looks like it comes out of the woman or the person that's walking the other way.
I think glitch.
I got a whole technological explanation for this.
Shoot.
Okay.
This is from me doing video production back in the day and figuring out encoding and things like that. You know, I recorded on, let me actually get the camera. I'll show you real quick. This was a $1,200 3CCD camera I bought back in Okinawa. One of the smallest. It's a news crew quality camera, which I have a wide angle lens on, but it records in this. I don't think I have a battery in it right now, but it records in a tape, which was not high 8. I forget the format, but it records in a magnetic tape. Once they switch to digital, if you understand how the digital works, it's like little strands of blocks, and like 8 blocks or 16 blocks or whatever are the same color, just different shades. That's why your digital is never as high quality as your analog. Never will be. I don't care. But what happens is if you get something that's very, very, very close, it can fade out, and you'll see that pixelation. Especially if you're dealing with lower quality DVDs and stuff like that, or you've reduced the quality, you'll see things pixelate out. So You're talking about a security camera here that's obviously trying to conserve space. If the bird got into a certain, if it was real and it flew in and it got into a certain angle where it really matched the background a lot, then the MPEG quality, MPEG 2, whatever, it's going to kind of like flush it out because it's going to take those certain pixels, it's going to match it to whatever the background is. It'll basically flush it out. And if Lord Raul, you said right. I think you maybe know a little bit about this too, as well, about video recording or something.
Yeah, very, very little, but
I've
had to deal with
well, the same way you can have hot spots. If you have hot spots or bright spots when you're videoing, when you're doing it digitally, you can get artifacts in your, in your production. You can actually lose things as well if it's so minimal. And like I said, if the bird turned a certain way to where it reflected certain colors on it, then it would just blend in. It's kind of really complicated. You got to really get into it. But now the fact that it disappeared completely is kind of odd to me. The fact that it faded out is not odd, but to disappear completely is a little odd. But I'm just offering an explanation. That's all.
Right. No, I've had to deal with that. Taking pictures with film camera versus digital at the same item. When you get the pictures back, you're like, oh, that doesn't line up because the film says this, but over here it's missing part of it because it took it out.
Well, it's trying to take samples, and that's what digital does. It takes samples, and then it builds around those samples. I guess that's the best way. My way of explaining it is that it's trying to, and that's why they say megapixels, right? How many thousands of pixels or millions of pixels? It doesn't get, like, analog gets it 100%. It gets it. Digital takes a bunch of little samples, and the faster you want stuff to be, the less the quality is going to be. I'm just saying. Right. And they're going to have to fill in the gaps, not with AI like they're trying to do now, but with algorithms or whatever. They're trying to fill it in. And if you look into, I did a hell of a lot of research, more than I wanted to do, into MPEG 2 quality, because that's what I had to do to upload a lot of stuff online. And it is basically strips of however many bits long, the 6 or pixels long, 16, 32, whatever. And they basically, you can't have a red, blue, green, blah, blah, blah. It's not like a TV where you have pixels. It's actually, this strip is this color, and we're just going to adjust shades of it. But no one's going to notice, because the one below it, after they've gone across and scanned it and they go to the next one, that might be green. And the next one below that is going to be blue, depending on what the predominant color was in that strip. So, and then your eye don't notice the difference, and actually your eye would notice the difference, except your brain is smart enough to figure it out and filter it out, right? And blend it. I don't know, that could be what's going on there. I know that was very complicated, really bad explanation, but it's the best I can describe it from what I've known.
All you had to do is say, that's not real.
I know. I'm just trying to say it. I think the bird, what I'm trying to say is the bird could be real, but it could have turned in such a way and reflected the light in such a way that the camera could have, through the processing, filtered it out.
I agree. Like I said, all these ones with the CCTV cameras, I really question.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's look at the Pentagon and 9/11.
There's no camera footage.
There's one. There's one from a tier 1 facility, most heavily guarded place in the world. We have one video, right?
Well, the Sitco and the DoubleTree did too, but they were they no longer exist.
That's a whole nother episode, isn't it?
Yes.
The Pentagon, yeah.
So here we go.
Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below.
This one I thought was
laptop.
Yes.
I know. I've seen this.
Yeah, I just thought it could be like a jewelry box or something. I mean, that's kind of. If it said like Apple or IBM on the side, yeah, then I would question it. But it's like, but they're trying to tell you that these are two USB ports, really, because they don't look like my USB ports, and mine only has one. But I was like, nah, that's a freaking jewelry box or some shit. I just think, or it could have been a mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
true.
Hey, look how saggy your boobs are.
Is there pinky cut off? What's going on there? That looks.
It's probably broken off, I think. Oh, over here.
Yeah, that looks nasty. And
Well, that bird. There's a bird probably took it.
Birds aren't real. What are you talking
I don't know.
about?
Maybe she.
I forgot.
Maybe she lost.
That's the bird that vanished in the other video.
Maybe she lost her cabling like me.
Yeah.
We've closed the loop. We've closed the loop of time travel. The bird in the
Raul?
video that disappeared went into this relief.
Went into the super fast. Raul's hand looks just like that. Except it's not
I don't know.
Pinky.
I'll go last on this one.
Index
I'll go
finger.
last.
But no, this wasn't actually the clip. It just happened to stop it there. But I think that's crap. I think it's jewelry boxes.
I would say we don't really know, and I would go to the point I was saying before that I really believe that what we're seeing today with our technology is brought about by what I would call demons, or people that want to God wants us to be here on the earth to be with nature and eat not raw, but cooked good beef, right? Wants us to live naturally and good and wholesome lives, and somebody's trying to take us away from that. So since we know that there was a flood, well, at least I believe there was, humanity was wiped out for a reason at one point. So why do we not think that whatever we're going through now that's kind of destroying us from within didn't happen before? So I'm not beyond the possibility of we had cell phones and laptops and stuff before. This is just a revamping of the old evil that was brought into our lives to pull us away from God.
Right. It worked so good the first time. Why not go back at it?
Bingo.
So you're saying it's the prehistoric Black Mirror.
Right?
Yes.
Maybe it's a cigar box.
I mean, there's recorded stuff of Atlantis where there was advanced technology and all this stuff. How do we know Atlantis wasn't the Silicon Valley of the old world?
Well, I mean that in Egypt, the pyramids and all that, they
Right.
they said those weren't,
And why is the Washington Monument? Why is the Washington Monument an obelisk? Or was it called? Obelisk?
Yeah.
Why did we do that again?
Well,
why?
Then you bring up the technology. You got the Antithica device.
Yes.
That's
Nice.
a mini computer that does stars and realignments or whatever. It's a small calculator. I mean,
that's a whole 2-hour episode right there, brother. That is a whole 2-hour episode. Woo! That one's deep.
I think that came up. I think I saw that in one of these as I was cruising.
Very deep. They found stuff that they did not.
The thing they found at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
And actually, supposedly, they even got who built it?
It says made in China in the back.
No, it's I can't remember the name of the guy who built it now.
Like the challenges of recreating that device in today's day and age is extremely hard.
Yeah.
With CNC machines and micro stuff, there's no way. You're talking about a stone hammer and a copper chisel that you're going to make a fine gear, down into the millimeter. And I've been 3D printing a lot of stuff lately. I understand that these tolerances are pretty tight. They're talking about tenths, hundredths of a millimeter for this device. There's no way that could have been produced back then with what we think the technology was. I really believe, just like this picture shows, that could be a laptop. I don't know. It could be a mirror. It could be a makeup case. Hell, it could be just a picture of something. I don't know. But I thoroughly think that it's possible that the demons, the people that want to pull God's creation away from God, lure them into this other thing, which look at what we're doing now, a virtual reality. They're just reusing the same thing. So it's not beyond me to think that before the flood, before people were wiped out, that they have done this in the past, but it's all been wiped out. And maybe it's still there. We just don't know where to dig, right? We don't know where the stuff is. We don't even know the extent of the ocean right now, right? We haven't, we supposedly explore Mars and the moon and all space and all this stuff. We don't know what's in the ocean. So how do we know what's in the ground?
But that goes, as I always say, the arrogance of man. That
yes,
we know it all. No, you don't. You don't know, no shit. Excuse my language.
That's all right. It's all right, Texas Slim.
I meant to say poop.
Yeah.
Another seat. Plane taking off. Yeah, that bright flash of light is like, that's a little weird.
Photoshop.
I was thinking they were 9/11 planes. Oh, that Malaysia flight.
Oh, that's 100% Photoshop. 100%. I can do that in Vegas video. I could make that video in literally 5 minutes.
Yeah, because I mean,
look,
like I said.
Okay, where's the lens flare? Let me ask you this. There's always a lens flare. Where's the lens flare? You know what I'm talking about? The little circles that come up for whatever your diameter of lens. Where is that? It doesn't exist. Whoever photoshopped it.
So if it was an actual plane disappearing, where did the passengers go? Wouldn't people be questioning that? Or are you just going to sit at the airport and wait for your loved one to arrive in Mexico or whatever for 10 years going, wonder when they're going to get here? So, yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm pretty damn sure that's a Photoshop thing.
But what do you think, Raul?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's see what the next one was.
I'm telling you, with Vegas Video, that's the program I use to do video editing. It's kind of old school, rudimentary, but you can do a lot of cool stuff. I could have done that flash just like that and then added the lens flare where it's like where it added motion to it, made it look more realistic. The fact that there was nothing, you're always going to have some kind of a lens flare, and that's the little dot, the little circles you see. Especially with a low quality camera, like, something that's on a building, just looking at the sky. Yeah, you're going to get that. It wasn't there.
I agree. I found it somewhat interesting, but I looked at it, I'm like,
it's fun to talk about, man.
If somebody told me that was flight 602 and flight 602 disappeared, then I'd probably go, oh, okay.
Well, yeah, now you can check it out and go, what happened to what happened to the passengers? Is anybody like Indonesia?
Yeah.
Remind me to tell you about a story about CGI later, Angus. What am I looking for?
Now, at first, I questioned this because it's like, okay, well, maybe the camera glitched and it just kind of loses it there. But then it actually does catch the car behind it at that same point. But I still think it's a glitch or something. See that band runs the same line. Doesn't fade out.
Oh, I see it. I see it. Go back. Go back.
I will go back.
Look at the very, very right side of the guardrail when the car disappears, and watch how the end of the guardrail doesn't match up with the rest of the guardrail. So the left side of the frame is frozen while the right side of the frame is real time. Watch right at the very, very right side where the little curb thing is. Watch.
Can I go back far enough?
Did you see it?
I didn't know. No.
It's like the guardrail at one point. The guardrail does this number.
Oh yeah, the very end.
Yeah. Yes. Watch it again. That was probably a glitch or it was done on purpose. Magic trick.
Yeah, I just saw it in that one.
There it is. You see it?
Yeah,
Did
kinda
you see
like-
it right there?
Looks like it's two pieces.
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah,
either that was
I saw it that
a video glitch or somebody did that on purpose to go viral or whatever.
I see. That's what I think. A lot of those CCTV cameras. I think it's video glitches.
So let me tell you about what I was going to tell you about. And this was well over 10 years, maybe 15 or even almost 20 years ago. I was barely getting to 3D modeling, and it was more because I was into video games, and I wanted to build little spaceships for my little space sim I played, because they had kind of cracked the code and you can customize it and add your own ships. I actually had built the the Back to the Future DeLorean in that one. Even has the out of time license plate on it. Pretty cool. But one of the things I was doing during my research to see what people were doing with 3D, stuff, was I come across a video that was on YouTube, and it was just kind of like one of these little alley cams, like looking down at a couple parking spaces or whatever. And this car turns into a robot and walks off. And then there was somebody on the street that was like, whoa, looks super real, super, super real. And that shit went viral for what viral was back in those days, 500 views or whatever. But the guy who posted it, he was kind of advertising his work, that he could do the 3D animation and superimpose it over a real video. But it had to be a still camera, a very still camera. So you got to be very, very careful about those still cameras. And what they'll do a lot of times is they'll zoom them or pan them to make it look like a moving camera. But really, it's very easy to manipulate a still video. Very, very easy. A moving video, it's much harder to manipulate. But a still video can be manipulated very easily, and that's what this guy did. And he made no bones about it. He said, I'm just advertising my skills. This is what I can do. I made this car turn into a robot, scared the shit out of this woman, which was an actor on the street, by the way, that just did a reaction. And then he put it together, right? Really, really good looking. Like it looked like Transformers kind of quality. But once they add that motion, and that's kind of a trick effect you can do with video, is you add that little bit of motion, zoom in, zoom out, pan a little bit, whatever, add a little jitter. It adds the motion to it that you think it's like real. I don't know. That's my thing.
No, that's and I've heard that with other, sometimes you see these videos. Me and my wife watch a lot of the paranormal ghost hunting shows and all that. And the ones that I believe, never show you a ghost. They can't catch it, whatever. They're doing more of the medium stuff. But these ones that show you something, those are the ones I always question, because, it's the same thing. Is this guy just showing off his skills, that he can do this and, make this look like it's levitating and everything? And it's only going to get more questionable the further we go, because I mean, like You look at Terminator, the first Terminator movie, when that came out in the early 80s, man, this thing is awesome. You look at it now, you go, geez, it looked like somebody took a crayon and drew a robot on it like a freaking film. What the? But, you know, then you look
Well, not just to mention that the technology back then, outside of the graphical stuff, right? The technology, you thought back then that this is so advanced, but now we look at that and say that's nothing compared to what we have now. You know, technology is advanced. People have robotic prosthetics
Yeah.
and things like that. So that's why people talk about predictive programming. You know, they're kind of putting this stuff out there in movies and things like that to kind of introduce it so that when it comes out, people aren't like, whoa, what's going on? They're like, oh yeah, we've seen that before. You know, it's great they finally came out with it. We've been talking about this for a while and it's welcomed, you know. So
I agree, but I don't welcome some of this technology they come out with.
technology is great as long as it doesn't enslave humanity.
Yeah,
And,
as long as it's used for good and not evil. And so
Yeah.
far, they haven't done anything but use it for shit. Number 4. I don't remember what this one was, but now my question is, why would a dog time travel? Is he like, you know, going to find the man that shot his paw?
now going back to my last point, that one's a hard one to fake because there was a moving camera. So that's very difficult if it was faked.
But like, there's all this. But there's a lot of I'm going to back it up.
Unless somebody went frame by frame and painted that shit in there, that's kind of hard to fake. And you know, I'm not saying it's real. I'm just saying that's a pretty good one right there. And then let me ask you this, real quick. Pause it real quick, Angus.
Yep.
And this is very important. Throw us up on screen. I want us to be full screen for this because this is very important.
You want this up on screen? You want us?
No,
up
put
on
us
screen?
full screen. This is important. I want to talk about this before we go over this again. This is very, very important to, like, my kids would tell me this crap. This shark jumped up and ate a bird out of the sky. Right. And they would say, like, this amazing thing happened I saw on TikTok, or this amazing thing happened I saw in this, 2-second video. And I would look at it and, you would see somebody filming their family in like Mar-a-Lago or whatever, wherever the hell they're on vacation. And then they would just randomly pan off into the middle of the ocean for no reason.
Yep.
And then something amazing would happen. I'm like, well, you got to understand, why did they do that? That's how you know it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, I agree. I've always said that. Why would somebody have a camera on that at this moment in time when there was no forewarning that something was going to happen?
And that's the point. That's how you know it's bullshit. And I would ask you this: why would somebody be sitting on the side of the highway filming some oncoming cars and happen to just a random car follow that car across and turn it, and then a dog come out of nowhere, unless it was bullshit?
Well, I think the reason they are filming, because it looks like there's a couple people there street racing, because they do say these guys are racing down the highway.
Okay, well, that makes sense because that has a purpose behind it.
Because that's what I thought originally. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I mean, that's the same thing I would question. Why is somebody standing there filming cars passing on the highway?
Exactly.
But I think it is street racing going on.
Now that would make sense, but I mean, I just want people to understand that. And when I said full screen, I meant us, not the thing.
That's what I asked.
No, I just want people to understand, when you see this kind of viral stuff, ask the question behind why was it filmed? If I was sitting there filming my family, my wife swinging my grandson in a swing on the beach, why would it all of a sudden pan over to the ocean where nothing at all is happening? and then all of a sudden the shark jumps up and bites a bird out of the air.
Because you were
that's
filming
completely
the
fake.
woman walking by in her 2-piece swimsuit, and
Well,
you
then
happened to
you'd
miss
see
her,
some
but then it
TNA,
just
man.
her.
You'd see some TNA, and I'd be single, because my wife would divorce me. But I mean, it's so obvious when you step back and you get away from the shock and awe of whatever it is they showed you, and you stand back and look at it like realistically, and be like, oh, really? Like I was filming something very important over here, and then I went to something absolutely not important, and then something amazing happened. That's absolutely bullshit. 100% bullshit.
That's like Jim Carrey in the Bruce Almighty. He just happens to be every specific event, and it's all random.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Well, there was a woman that was it 9/11 she was at, and the Boston bombing.
And that's this kind of stuff you got to look at. What's the chance?
And that's she's a crisis actor.
Yeah.
And she got interviewed both times. I think it was 9/11. I could be wrong about that. Oh
no, you're talking about a lot of people have talked about that. This is not abnormal in these major events that you see the same people, and sometimes they have a different wig on or whatever, but they've been pointed out. I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist on it.
I look it up, but I think this woman actually said that. Oh, I was at, and I'm pretty sure it was the Pentagon and on 9/11, and just happened to be at the Boston bomb and got interviewed on the news both times.
Yeah,
it's like
millions of people all over the place.
Yeah,
but they picked you out.
Amazing. So I'm gonna
go get some lotto numbers.
No, go ahead.
All right. Sorry to take us off on a tangent there. It's something that's important.
So I'm going to preface this next one with this guy because he reminds me of Harps. Harps, if you ever watched this, yeah, I know what Harps looks like.
From down under.
The guy Harps looks like you, just like you shaved. You see it? And I'm not talking about the guy with the accordion.
He's missing a 50 cal rifle, though.
Yeah. Did you see it?
Yeah, the bike.
Yep.
The bike, yeah.
That one's a little weird because I thought maybe just, again, one of those things where just happened to be the angle of the camera at the right time, but I don't see that bike anywhere before. And this guy's not standing still either. He's moving around.
No, yeah, he's moving around.
Yeah, that's a tough one too. I don't know. That's a tough one.
But is that also one of those ones? I mean, but the context, is it one of those things where, again, why are you filming this guy? But maybe they were talking to him about something, and something to do with the guy with the accordion. I don't know.
I don't know. I think if I traveled through space and time, and I just popped out on the street, I might crash my bike. I might be like, "What the f just happened, man?"
All right,
you have that classic bike wobble.
Unless I'm going to give you my answer to this.
Okay,
and maybe I'll explain why that didn't happen.
Uh-oh.
This one, this one is just stupid. I think I just got lazy and just wrote it down.
I like
it. Doesn't get much more exciting than a cat. Like, hey, what's what I'm gonna do?
And the cat makes us YouTube safe. What happened?
See, I think that's a glitch. Can you still see that? Oh, that's fine.
And there's
so that
there was no the issue you got too is There's no reflection off of that canister or whatever that is.
So is it a ghost cat?
Hold on,
Could
keep
be.
it going. Keep it going. I'm looking. Oh, so I've done this, Angus. I did this as a joke to my stepson. We got a little in-house camera, and it caught him eating at the not the main dinner table one night, but the little eating kitchen table. And I took the video and I downloaded a free kind of a free for use, kind of a scary lady coming out of nowhere. And I was able to superimpose it. If you want, I'll find it and put it on screen if you want to play it. And you can see what I did.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, let me find it real quick because me and my wife are going through home videos last night.
I just think it's a glitch.
And this is somebody
because
who's not
as the cat gets
professional.
near that.
Movies.
Well, tell you what, while you're looking for that, I'm going to play number one.
Okay.
Oh, so you can go back.
This one's a little weird. The lights in the store.
Yeah.
It's kind of that Terminator thing.
Yeah.
Yes, put it the stamp at the top. He goes back and forth with flickers between 2016 and 2019.
Yeah.
My question would be: is if you time travel, why would you only stay for, I don't know, was it 2 minutes or so? Go all that way from wherever you came from, walk out of the store, turn around, and walk back in. That seems like a lot of effort to me.
Maybe they stopped making gummy bears, and they just really wanted the gummy bears.
Well, either that or maybe he was looking for a Slim Jim.
There you go.
Slim Jim made with assholes and eyelids, right?
But I mean, so it seems pretty convenient that, okay, so you had the first two people that walk up to see that the sign says closed, and they had to get pretty close to the door because they couldn't read from far away.
Because that closed sign is pretty small.
And then you got the guy in the corner there that's just, the homeless guy. It all seems
Hey, I was down on my luck, man. Don't freaking judge me.
Didn't mean to kick you while you were down. But no, it seems like a very convenient. I don't know. And the sad thing was that was number one.
So I got my my video on the slate there. I don't know if you could pop it up. This is what I did. This was a little goof I played on my stepson. He was kind of being a little shit and digging into the refrigerator in the middle of the night. And I won't go into it, but we had to put up, man, that sounds kind of bad, but I ended up having to put in a camera to just prove the point that we weren't like full of shit, let's say, hey, you got to share with your brother and sister and, stuff like that. And he lie. So we caught him. But anyway, I made fun of it. We only did that for a little while to show that we weren't full of crap. So I caught him, and it's easy to manipulate a black and white. But I showed him this kind of to scare him a little bit. And then I told him, of course, later it was not real.
Why did you tell
Look,
him?
look, I did that. I was able to superimpose that image, which I got freely online, over a still kind of non-moving black and white. And I showed him that later, and it kind of scared him. And then I told him it was kind of fake,
But that looks a whole lot better than some of the other ones we saw.
Yeah.
You only told him it was kind of fake?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
No,
kind of
no. It was, yeah. Putting that camera in was not a good idea, by the way. It just caused more problems. But I don't know. When stuff's getting messed up around the house and you're blaming your sisters for it, you know, you got to get to the bottom of it. So we did, as long as we
Well,
had to.
You know, maybe you would have caught a poltergeist or something.
Yeah. But I was able to
Mhm.
manipulate that. And I literally got that little ghost thing. Minimal, I'm talking minimal skills with any kind of video editing program. A little bit of Photoshop skills. Nothing. Anybody can learn this stuff probably in a week, and you can make a video like that. And that's why it's easy for me to pick apart, like the one where there was no lens flare. When there was a big flash, you'd expect to see a flare. Maybe barely noticeable, but something, because the lens is round. So that was where the airplane just like disappeared. Yeah, totally fake, 100% fake. I could do a better job than that with a week's worth of research. So,
All right.
but some of these though intrigue me. Some of these intrigue me.
Yeah, I mean, one or two, but you know, I think the Charlie Chaplin lady with the cell phone.
Yep.
That one's kind of odd because I think that's actually off of original film footage, right before digital. Yes, that's what's very intriguing is when you get those original. They couldn't have faked that back then. There's no way.
And they wouldn't have known what they were faking.
The only explanation is that something else was going on that we don't understand. Maybe she was crazy and talking into her hand. But that would be
well, you can see she is holding something.
Right.
You see it's dark at the end where her hand is.
And there's no antenna.
She could just have been a schizophrenic talking to herself on a piece of wood.
And as you pointed out, there was no kind of like crazy antenna sticking out or something. I don't remember if you remember back in the 80s, the early days of the cell phone or even the headset radios, you know, they had the antenna sticking out.
Yeah.
The bag phones had the cord. There was never anything all encompassing into a small unit like there is today. And even 10 years ago, some of the antennas still had some of the phones still had the little antenna on it, right?
Yeah, the little nub.
Yeah, so that was interesting. You pointed that out, that there wasn't any kind of a wire or anything off of it. Now, is that time travel, or is that there was technology out there before we know about it? That's a good question. Greta Thunberg. Oh my God. Well, zoom that in, man. That's her.
I don't know if I can
shift mouse wheel or control mouse wheel. It should zoom it.
You're gonna hurt his brain.
There you go. There you go.
Ooh. I'm gonna tell my wife to do that.
Not too much.
Yeah, too much.
Too much Greta is not good.
Well, there we go.
I think the one we just saw was the guy in the hoodie that I was talking about. Oh, wow. Now, that's what Greta should be doing instead of flying on private jets, right?
Complaining about climate change on her private jet.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why she's such a little pain in the ass, because she's pissed off from her past life.
You know, I'm not a Greta hater. I blame her parents, and I think that was child abuse.
Oh, I 100% agree with that.
That's the guy I was talking about. He's got like a kind of a hoodie kind of thing on, and he's got those modern day sunglasses.
And it almost looks like he has a Batman logo.
I was gonna say it looks like he's got a Batman or a Superman logo there.
Well, you know, my initial fight back,
Photoshop.
My initial fight back on this photo, because I think this is actually from an original photo, if I'm not mistaken. This is from it's not
supposedly
digital, yeah, supposedly. So my initial fight back on this is a welder, and those are like welding goggles. But if that was the case, we didn't have the smart technology back then to like where you can actually see through it in the daytime. If anybody's ever welded, they'll know if you put on a welding mask, you can't see shit.
Yeah, you can't.
Broad daylight. So you wouldn't wear those outside of your work. But let's just say you did, and then this garb he's wearing, whatever might be the hoodie or whatever they say it is, let's just say that's a protective for
Yep.
the Sparks. It doesn't explain the T-shirt, because T-shirts were not a thing back then. They had what we now call a wife beater, right? The undershirt.
Yep.
They didn't really have T-shirts. They had dress shirts, like button-ups, or they had the undershirt, which was the straps, like a man bra, wife beater, whatever you want to call it. So that one's intriguing to me. I don't have an explanation for it.
There's another one with a cell phone.
Whoa.
At the 1962 World Cup.
Oh, I was looking at the actual cup.
Oh, as long as you weren't looking at the guy, you're looking at the guy's cup?
Well, I mean, that's where the focus is, right? The bulb?
Yeah, so you got this. They say it's a smartphone.
That is interesting. What is that? Now, is this a digital photo, or is this was pulled from an actual, like?
This is actually pulled from another one that's pulled from an actual. Oops, sorry. Another one that's. Come on,
You're zoomed in. That's why it's doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to get back out, actually. There we go. All right. Yeah. So supposedly, championship celebrated team. The picture shows
And
the man.
look at the people in the background. 1, 2, 3 of the old cameras.
Yep. So this is what, 1962? I said, yeah.
Does that guy got a tablet over there on the right? What is that?
Oh,
that's
nope,
probably
I think.
his-
But
that's
now
probably
looking here, it's look at what's this person holding.
Another old camera.
Is that? It's hard to tell.
No, that's an old camera.
But yeah, so this definitely looks weird. One hand.
He was getting that shot for OnlyFans.
Yeah.
This one was stupid too. Time traveler skips town. This guy said he was from the future and then he disappeared after he owed people money or something.
How convenient.
I thought he'd look more like, Hunter Biden or something like that. But
Or you could do like Trump and skip into the presidency. And that was something
isn't Trump supposed to be a time traveler?
Well, I was thinking about this today, and I know this is way off topic. Trump filed bankruptcy over many, many companies, right? Many times filed
Like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah. Don't you think that if he has the money and he says he's richer than they claimed he was when he ran, don't you think he should make amends to his investors and the people that lost their jobs and things like that? Shouldn't that be a thing?
Should be.
But no, he time traveled in the future to be a TV star and then a president. I don't know. Kind of off topic, but I was thinking about that today. So,
well, some people say he's the Antichrist too.
I don't think he is. I would peg more Bill Gates to be that.
Yeah,
but
this is my favorite here.
Yeah,
wanted somebody to go back in time with me. This is not a joke. You'll get paid after we get back. Bring your own weapon.
I love that.
I wonder if they got any responses.
I've only done
Well,
this.
we'll never
once.
know. We'll know in 20 years, because they got left there. You wanted looking for a ride back to the past. I got left here with no payment.
Anybody got a DeLorean?
So this guy here says he's traveled, that's him in 1857, 1916, 1945, and now. Again, is it just 4 people that look alike? Or, maybe there's...
I'm gonna tell you right now, everywhere I've gone in the military, I must have like one of those faces that there are just people out there that look like me. But everywhere I've gone, people have been like, "Hey, I was in Nova Scotia with you," and they're like, they think I'm somebody else. I get that a lot.
I have
that a lot in the military. Yeah, and I mean, it wouldn't be too hard to find. And actually, I've seen people that look like me, and it kind of freaks me out when you see them. It's kind of like you can't turn away. You're like, what the hell's going on? It's not that hard to find people that look like you. Really isn't.
They say everybody has a twin.
Oh yeah,
So
more than
there's
one.
got to be more than one. All right, I'm going to share this one full screen. This was the other cell phone one from an old movie. Here.
I saw it. Yeah. I'm in public. I'll call you back later.
Yep. We're going out for drinks after. And then she kind of folds it
Right.
like a
You
flip
notice.
phone.
You notice that.
I want to see that. I didn't catch it.
He brings it down and
Yeah.
then flips it.
Watch your hand. Oh, it's,
Well, she was the only one back then using a razor.
oh, it cycled back around.
Let me see. Yeah, it looked like she did a little thumb flip.
Yeah, so they're going to show it in slow motion.
It looks better when they slow it down.
So what's this from? This wasn't obviously someone randomly.
1938.
But was it from a movie? Because nobody had cameras back then. It wasn't like they caught this on a street cam or a dash cam.
I honestly don't know. It says film.
Okay, it's a film.
Yeah,
So it might have been like fluff footage or whatever they put in. The
right.
B-roll.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, people coming out of work or whatever.
Look at how happy they are working at their new jobs.
And they're freaking. Nobody's wearing jeans.
We're the PJs.
You know what? Look how not fat they are.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Not
Exactly.
fat. Healthy.
You got a couple.
He's kind of
people,
chubby.
but
But...
Yeah, but nobody that's like. I mean, now you see people say, "Oh my god!"
I guarantee you, none of them people has to do an insulin shot every day. You know.
Yeah, or they're not taking their
25 pills.
Yeah, or one of
blood
those
pressure
things.
medication and their SSRIs, for
Yes,
depression,
that's what I was
anxiety.
thinking of. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, we are a product of our own worst freaking nightmare. Yeah, it was there's another one here about a Mike Tyson fight.
Oh, I've seen that one. The lady
Does the ear disappear and reappear?
Yeah, in his mouth. It disappears and reappears in his mouth.
no,
Somebody with supposedly a smartphone, but I don't think it looks like a smartphone to me. Time Traveler Biker, that one was stupid. All right, so here's one. Because I'm gonna they killed the video, so that must have been real.
Oh, there's your
yeah, I'm gonna put this one up to see. I don't think this was actually in the film. It's this one here. Now I don't know if that's something somebody made.
What? That looks so fake.
Look at that going. What the hell is that? They could have used that to power a submarine.
All right.
Too soon.
It looks like somebody 3D printed a sand mold and just did like a sandcastle kind of thing. But
I went through this clip and I do not remember seeing that, so I'm just wondering if they just did, it is a mock-up to grab your attention to watch this clip, and that one was just stupid. Another one, some guy that had nothing better to do with it, talk about he came from 2030.
Well, let's ask him about the UN's agenda, if it works out or not.
Yeah. Well, apparently not, because he was able to talk about it.
Right? Hey, what's CBDC like? What's your UBI like? Can you get more than ramen once a week?
Can you get?
How's Greta doing as president?
Yeah, right. Yeah. How dare you? Hey, what happened to Angus, man? And you're muted, Lord Raul. You're muted on that device.
I don't know. For some reason, all of a sudden, I got kicked out.
Oh, I think you pulled yourself out, man.
No, I
Or
would never do that.
Yeah, StreamYard's been glitchy lately too, so you never know. I know AT and myself have been having issues with screens coming in and out.
Well, I think this laptop I have here, which is not really a laptop. I was telling you this morning, I can separate the keyboard, but you can't use it then. Then it just becomes a monitor. And I think it's just starting to wear out. I've had it for 4 years now.
Judging by the sound it made earlier, I'd say yeah.
Yeah, I thought for sure it was dead. I didn't think it was ever coming back.
I thought your computer died, bro. It sounded like your hard drive was.
Oh yeah, I thought for sure it was done.
Yeah,
I mean it's much cooler now too.
And for those listening or watching, that is the, even though we deal with these glitches with this this platform we use called StreamYard, and there's others. The beauty of it is that it's online. So if the person producing drops out, the stream continues to run. There are alternatives. We can run OBS Studio, which has a pretty steep learning curve. And number 6 from the New Prisoners, he runs that. And it works great. However, if the person running it, like if Angus was running it tonight and he crashed out, the stream would be done. So the upside to dealing with the glitches is at least it continues to run on until we could figure it out. And then you jump back in. So here we are.
Which, we use Teams for work, and we do a lot of meetings with customers and stuff on Teams. And that's basically the same way. So you really have to watch what you say too, because sometimes, you say, so Raul and I are working together. You're the customer. You drop out. We think you drop out, and we start talking crap about you, but you're not really dropped out, and you can hear everything that we said. So now what we learned is you close out the whole thing and then reconnect. Raul and I will reconnect and then trash talk you.
Oh wow! And so you guys basically have when we're done here, you got a scheduled appointment with each other to talk shit about me.
Well, it was going to be Little John, but he's gone.
Oh, we could do that now, can't we? No, just kidding.
We just want to know if he's okay.
But he probably got called into dinner.
But it's this will be a little bit off topic before we close out. But yesterday when DK had that guest on, I was a little bit offended.
Dr. Shiva?
Yeah. I mean, I swear my own, but I just kind of found it a little bit disrespectful for him to do that on that show. Because
I kind of thought it was funny
multiple times.
The Effer Carlson thing, I thought was humorous, but I mean, it kept on and kept on, and a lot of people were offended, man.
It's like one time you do it, one time okay, it's funny, but don't keep doing it. It's offensive. Like I said, I swear all the time, but not on somebody's show who doesn't. You show a little respect
and that's not the first time he had Dr. Shiva, right? That was he's been on before, so he should know. I'm pretty sure he's been on at least once before, so he should know, what the format is, and that it's a Christian-based show. I don't know.
Even Gerald Celente, he never. I've heard him say, shit or something like that, but and usually he just kind of pulls it right back in. I don't think I ever heard him drop the F-bomb and not.
And if you know who Gerald Celente is on other shows, he doesn't hold back, but he has the respect for David that he doesn't do that. Yeah.
I don't care if somebody swears on here. But to show respect for somebody, you shouldn't do that. I mean, it's when I'm on your show on Nights of the Storm, I go by your guidelines. We all drop.
We try to keep it PG.
PG,
PG. Yeah.
But anyhow, so I'll save the CERN stuff for next time, and because I think I'm going to gather some more stuff on that, and we'll look forward to that.
Do you have any kind of contact with Virtual Gypsy?
Other than the chats, no.
Okay, I'll reach out to her because she has some really good, insightful stuff on the CERN. It will blow your mind. Cool. Absolutely blow your mind. Let me see. I know she moved recently. She's taking care of her mama, and she did a big move and stuff, which is why she hasn't been on the show in a while. But I'll reach out and see if she's available or can be available to talk on
That-
that.
I think she was on AU today. I think I
Was
saw
she?
her in the chat. She
No,
was
no,
in the
no.
chat.
That wasn't
No,
virtual.
I saw her in the chat somewhere.
Yeah, she was in the chat. She wasn't on the show. Yeah, I got
No,
you.
that's what I mean in the chat.
Yeah.
And it's-
Yeah,
the only
she's
question
kind of
I know.
settled in, but I mean, she's probably still unpacking and stuff like that. I don't want to pressure her, but she's always a great guest. She's been on the Foxhole 2 or 3 times now, and usually talking about computer stuff and AI. Very genius. She's into Linux and programming and computers, and I mean, she knows all this stuff. So I think and we talked about CERN offline, and her insights are pretty good. So I'll try to set that up, brother. So we'll talk about that offline. I don't want to ruin your show or nothing.
No, it's fine. This is, like I said, I got editing, so I can edit stuff out. But
Yeah.
Give people a little teaser what's coming.
Yeah, right. That's what we do.
Yeah. But so, what do you got going on this week? For just back to Foxhole and Knights of the Storm. We got anything big coming up on? Guess.
So Foxhole, we didn't get into the gun control stuff, so I'll probably have to do my research because things are dynamic and changing by the day. But as you know, I'm working on a matter of fact, I'll show it. Here it is. A 3D printed gun, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, and it is legal. I had to pause midway. It's an AR platform, but it's in a 22 long rifle, which is a pretty small bullet. But yeah, I had to pause it because when I was at the gun store 3 or 4 days ago, because I bought another gun and it had to go through. Yeah. I'm sorry, Biden. I can't just buy a gun online. Gun show loophole. Oh yeah, they go to the White House. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. All right. I still have to go to the freaking gun store and pay some extra money and sit there for a freaking hour. To because I'm an American citizen, I have to get permission from the government to protect my family. Anyway, sorry for the rant. While I'm sitting there talking to the guy, as I was building this gun, I wanted to build it small, so I got a pistol length barrel, and I was going to put a pistol brace on it, thinking that the pistol brace ban was there was an injunction on it right now. Well, it turns out that's not the case. And I found out from the gun guy as I was sitting there talking to him about just whatever while we're waiting for an hour for the government to waste both of our times. You know, at least they got $25 for their time wasted. But I went back and I looked at the actual legislation and realized I had to stop. I almost I was incriminating myself by writing an article on this project to show how ridiculous 3D printing a gun. They say that you're just going to become a gun manufacturer overnight and criminals are doing this. Absolutely not. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's not profitable. It's not economical. It doesn't make sense to do that. It's for hobbyists to do. And at best, it's a pain in the ass. I'm telling you, it's a pain in the ass and you're going to deal with problems. And you might blow it up in your face. But anyway, as I'm doing this project, I'm getting ready to release some articles. I'm getting ready to put this thing together finally. I've been emailing Harps and sending him pictures and just about ready to become a felon. And then this guy says, hey, you might want to check this out. I go check it out. I said, I got to stop everything right now.
Yeah.
Say what?
Also, whenever you get into talking about something like that, you break up big time. I think it's the government.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, needless to say, I had to stop what I did and redesign shit to rebuild this gun in a legal way. That's what I had to do. So that's why there's been a pause on that whole project, is I want to make sure I didn't incriminate myself. But now it's completed. That's what I got going on. And I forget. I got off on a rant, man. I forgot what we were going to talk about.
I don't remember either.
No.
But I think Raul was going to say something. And
Go ahead, man. I'm going to
You
sit
gonna say
back for a
something?
minute.
I don't even remember now. I was
we're all old.
I was too busy. Oh no, I know what I was going to ask. I was going to ask how the 3D printing gun was going, and that's when you pulled out the gun to show it.
Yeah, it's actually a pain in the ass, brother. A pain in the ass. And well, I'm writing a Substack article on it. Like I said, I've actually got the next couple articles ready to go, but I paused it because I didn't want to incriminate myself. So I got to make sure I don't have any pictures that look like I put something together illegal or anything like that. So, and I assure you, I didn't do anything illegal. I made sure before I put it together that I was good to go. But I don't know. By the time I publish it, it might be illegal. Meanwhile, the guy they just captured that stole a 22. Oh wait, I'm sorry, it's a shotgun. Whatever. They changed that. He wasn't allowed. He escaped from freaking jail, and he managed to get a gun. So taking your gun away is going to stop that, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. And
We'll be
and
much safer.
And the criminals will
Oh, yeah.
they won't have to carry guns because you don't have a gun.
Yep.
So-
And there's another story about another guy who escaped from jail that broke into someone's house and he got shot by a homeowner that had a gun. You haven't heard about that, have you?
No, those are the ones. Yeah, those are the.
You know,
the
I think it just
stories that
happened
they were told
today or yesterday or something. Yeah, you won't hear about that because that's a story that promotes gun ownership to protect your family, but you won't hear about that. But you hear about this asshole that escaped from jail, they fired the guy in the tower, so that makes it okay. No, the system is jacked up, man. The system's jacked up. You can't even. Whatever. I don't want to go there. You'll get me on a rant, man.
You already did.
I know I did. I did a tiger rant.
It's all good. Nobody got hurt. But yeah. So hopefully in 2 weeks, do it again.
Yeah, sure. We got to get the CERN. I'll talk to Gypsy. See if we can get her on.
I think the next step is we can start getting. I'm going to end recording. So everybody have a wonderful weekend. Well, by the time this posts, have a good week this week. Be able to catch me on Forbidden Knowledge News on Monday at I think 4:30, 3:30 or 4:30 Eastern time. I think 4:30.
Text me before it goes live so I can check it.
Okay. And don't know what we're going to be talking about yet, but looking forward to it. And what the? I got to swear because. Okay. A little computer issue again. All right. So I'm going to end the recording now and.